I want to tell you a story about something that happened to me about a month ago. We've all had our experiences with scammers in the world. Sometimes they're in email, sometimes they're in a phone text, sometimes they're in a phone call, sometimes you get a letter in the mail, and sometimes they just show up at your door trying to sell you garbage. I talked to a scammer recently for about 2 weeks, and because I love telling stories, let me tell you about it. So I was having a casual browse of an abandoned email address. As you do. It's like a pointless treasure hunt in a way. This is an email that was registered to a YouTube account that has been suspended for about 12 or 13 years. So I was browsing the email address and I looked in the spam folder, and this is what I see. Now, I've seen enough Kit Boga videos to know what a spam email looks like. I mean, it's terribly written. It's clearly a copy and paste job. If you copied this email and put it on and Googled it, you'll get like several search listings talking about this specific email. But I had never seen it before, so I just read through it and I had several questions. So it's from so and so forth at tnst.in. Immediately I googled that and it's linked to the Tamil Nadu State Transport Corporation. I guess whoever sent this sent it from his work. The email is dated Wednesday, October 5th. So as the email says, he is the Interim Assistant General Manager, Operations, Maintenance, Transportation, whatever that means, at Harrisburg International Airport in Pennsylvania. Okay, I guess they have an Interim Assistant General Manager. And he's talking about an abandoned package that was held up at customs, was never claimed, and was left a site to be destroyed or whatever. His name is Mr. Charles Colicino. I think that's how it's pronounced. During his withheld package routine at the airport storage vault, okay, I discovered an abandoned shipment from a diplomat in London. London, Ohio, London, England, I have no idea. And when scanned, it revealed an undisclosed sum of money in a metal trunk box weighing approximately 110 kilograms. Okay, I guess you can scan packages and it can reveal the contents. I guess that means he x-rayed it. The consignment was abandoned because the contents of the consignment was not properly declared by the consignee as money, rather it was declared as personal effects to avoid interrogation, and also the inability of the diplomat to pay for the United States non-inspection charges, which is 3,700 USD. Maybe that's true, maybe it isn't. And then they say on the consignment, which I guess is a declaration of customs, it has my name, my email address, and the official documents from the United Nations office in Geneva are tagged on the trunk box. So they have my name and my email address, which if you read through the email, you'll notice they do not mention my name whatsoever. So, yeah, if they actually had my name, they probably would have used it. Yeah, this entire email is just a jumbled mess. And then they get to the standard part of a scam where they ask for your name, your phone number, your address, and able to cross-check it with like log details or whatever so they can pass this non-existent package onto me. Now this is the really sketchy bit. He says, please pass the required details to my private email address. And that's a red flag there. If you work at an airport and there comes up an issue at customs and you need to contact the recipient, well, for one thing, you would probably contact the original sender so they can correct it. You wouldn't contact the person who's receiving it. And if you're contacting them, you wouldn't use a private email address for this. So he wishes to contact me personally so he can pay for this processing fee of 3,700 and arrange for this metal box of money to be delivered to my house. Or he can bring it himself to avoid any more trouble. But I have to assure him that whatever's in this box, he gets 30% of it, which it already sounds illegal. honestly, already. I wait to hear from you urgently if you're still alive. A little bit of a stretch there, don't you think? And I will appreciate if we can keep this deal confidential. Alright, if we're talking about keeping something confidential, at this point it's already become pretty illegal. And here he lists an email address, which is already raising red flags, because he claims to be from Pennsylvania, but his email address provided has a Uruguay domain. So, yeah, at this point, if I didn't believe it before now, I wouldn't believe it now. Because if you're from Pennsylvania, you wouldn't have a Uruguay domain name for your email. So I didn't believe a word of this, but I decided to have a laugh and humour him. So I sent back what I believe is the most obviously fake response you could have. I say, yes, this is my box. Thank you so much for finding it. I feared it was lost. The contents of the box are extremely valuable to me. And then I sort of jump the gun and get straight to the point. Why does your email address have a Uruguay domain name if you work in Pennsylvania? I have a strong attention to detail, and I like to make sure I understand everything before we proceed further. So that's all fine. I found that email on October 7th. I didn't expect to hear back from him, but on October 9th, he actually wrote back. Dear Billy Shears, your package for delivery. First of all, my name is not Billy Shears. If you've listened to Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, you get the reference. I have cross-checked your details with the information stated on the official documents. First thing, I never provided any documents, so he's talking complete nonsense at this point. And he has confirmed that I am the actual beneficiary to receive the consignment being held here at the Harrisburg International Airport. Awesome. Money. To ensure the full protection of you and me, I would respectfully request we maintain confidentiality. I mean, honestly, something's held in an airport storage vault. Sooner or later, someone's going to know something's missing. And then honestly, it only takes so long before you discover what happened. So he says again here that he's going to pay for the non-inspection charges of $3,700. That's all fine. Once he's been able to clear these release requirements, he shall board a flight to my city to deliver this box. Once again, he insists that he receive 30% of whatever's in the box. So you would think things are going normal so far. Basically, you're getting free money. If you buy it, obviously. He will go ahead and pay for the non-inspection charges and conclude negotiations for the release of the consignment. See, now, here's the thing. If you want to keep this confidential, you can't exactly keep it confidential if you're paying a customs charge for this. They'll have that logged. They'll have documents for this. I am making use of the opportunity since I will be retiring soon without anyone knowing about it, unless if you reveal it to a third party, which I would strongly advise you never do so. And remember, loose lips sink ships. A little bit extreme, don't you think? Now this is crucial if you receive an email like this. Never give them your real details. If they don't address you by your real name and you can't verify where the information, the email is coming from, where the text is coming from, you never give them your real details. Always, never be afraid to Google something. Because chances are someone else has experienced the exact same scam you've experienced. So I know to never give him my real information. So in this case, I'm a man called John, and I'm from Fort Worth, Texas. On October 12th, he wrote back to me. I acknowledge the receipt of your email. I got an email from the loan company this morning that the loan I applied for has been approved, and I shall come this afternoon to collect the loan. Once again, how do you keep that confidential if you're getting a loan from a loan company or a bank? They'll have records of this. As soon as I have collected the loan, I shall pay the non-inspection fee. Please let me know the nearest available airport to your city, so it can be easy for me to locate your address. Now, I make a mistake here, and it comes back to haunt me in a bit. I give him a second set of details. This time claiming to be someone called Ulysses from College Station, Texas. And that will come back to haunt me. And I claim the nearest airport to my house would be LaGuardia International Airport. Now, anyone who lives in America will know that LaGuardia is actually in New York and not Texas, but he never questions it. The following day, he replies and says he's been trying to call or text me on the phone to let me know he has been able to secure the release of the consignment after a heated negotiation with the airport vault authorities. With that, if you're having a confrontation with the authorities at your local airport, you're not going to be able to keep this confidential. And also, this is funny, I'm looking through the emails here and I don't see anything where I provided him a phone number. But if I did, I would have used a fake phone number that I got from a random generator on Google. That's where I get all these fake details from. He's paid the non-inspection fees of $3,700, and he's been acquired by the Customs Airport Authority to sell the accumulated demurrage fee of $1,980. Otherwise, clearance will not be issued and the flight company will not board me for delivery. Except at this point, he only has $1,300 on him after paying the non-inspection fee. So at this point, he needs $680 to get the final fee processed so he can board the plane and fly to LaGuardia in Texas. So this is the real catch here. He wants me to send him $680. How much that's worth in India, I don't know. So this is where they start asking for money. They think they have my details, but now they have to complete the deal. They want to get money off of me. So he says, this is my only role in this process. He shall leave Pennsylvania once he receives the $680 from me. But of course, I'm not actually going to give him money for this. So I respond with saying, oh, I'm sorry, my phone was damaged the other day, so sometimes text messages don't come through. I don't know if that's how it actually works, maybe it is, but obviously I didn't give him my real phone number for this. So I ask, how should I make that $680 payment? I could do bank transfer. I offer I can do a bank transfer for this. All I require is his banking details. So I've seen enough Kit Boga videos, like I've said, where he's able to get bank accounts out of scammers. So I've figured, can I pull this off? This is my first time actually going this far with a scammer, so I want to see if I can actually pull it off. Later that same day, he responds, and this is what he gives me. Being brutally honest, I didn't think I would get a bank account out of him, but he actually gave me one. I mean, obviously, I'm not showing the actual account names or the account details beyond the bank, but I can guarantee the names don't match, and the address for the bank is in Lithuania. So I can tell this is probably a stolen bank account. Now, I should also mention at this point, he started emailing me from a different account, which once again I inspected, and it's registered to a bookshop in Italy. So obviously it's probably another stolen email address as well. Now, conveniently, I checked out the banking details he gave me. I don't recognize the bank, but I was able to find them on Facebook. And within an hour of receiving those details, I sent them a message saying, I've had an email from a scammer, I need to report some bank details. They were very nice, they took care of it immediately. But at this point, I've reported the bank account he gave me. But I start to think, how far can I take this? So once again, underneath the banking info, he's asked for my details again. So he's going all in this time. He wants my full name, my full address, my telephone number, my age, and a form of ID. So I'm guessing he wants to steal not only my bank account and all my money, but my personal details as well. So now at this point, my wife has seen what's going on with this, and she wants to play a part in this. So she gave me a suggestion of what she wants me to write for the next email. So I figured I want to drag this out as much as I possibly can to see if I can get more bank details out of him. So I say, thanks very much for the information, Charles. I hate to be that kind of person, but my wife has come into some legal problems recently. I'm sure the drug charges will be resolved relatively quickly, so once I have taken care of her situation in the courthouse, I will send you the required details to resolve this situation. It sounds insane, but this is what my wife wanted me to put. And like a true, loving, supportive, caring scammer, he asked me for my personal details again. So in response to him requesting my information when my wife is in serious legal issues, I respond with, look, Charles, I told you, this isn't a good time. My wife is facing serious drug charges in court, and now they're talking about adding kidnapping charges to her list of accused crimes. If I don't take care of this promptly, she could end up in prison. I'm sorry, but the details will have to wait. Thank you. So 2 days later, I get back onto him and say, hi, Charles, sorry for the delay. The courthouse proceedings have been mad. And then I give him another list of details. Now, this is where the problems kick in. So at this point, I've given him 3 sets of false details. So at this point, I claim my name is Franklin Moss from Los Angeles. I give him a list of fake phone numbers. I checked it to make sure these phone numbers do not actually exist. And I say I'm 52 years old. So the next day, I tried to make a payment to him, but the bank didn't recognize his account. This was after I reported it for fraud. So I tried to get another bank account out of him. So I say, the bank doesn't recognize your bank account. Do you have an account with another bank, or maybe I could send you a check for the $680? Which, I mean, honestly, from either Los Angeles or Texas to Pennsylvania, it should be easy enough to send a check. But of course he's a scammer, so he doesn't want to leave a paper trail. So he refuses that. So I think at this point he's getting pretty irate. He says, go to your bank and send it. Thank you to the bank. Thank you, the bank information is okay. So he sends the same info. The bank's in Lithuania. It's the same bank account I've already reported. So I said I'll get back to him. And I say, if they ask who you are, what should I say? Because I've never made an international bank transfer or a wire transfer. So I'm playing along, I'm playing dumb here. And I say, if they ask who you are, what do I say? And he just says, just tell them I am your friend. That is all. So later that night, I told him I went to the bank earlier that day. And I told them I wanted to send $680 to my friend, but they said they couldn't do the transfer because of something about the account being frozen, which honestly at that point it might have been. I never heard back from the bank, the bank's Facebook page, after I messaged them. So for all I know, maybe the account really was frozen. So I just said I didn't understand why it was frozen on account of financial fraud. So I asked again if he had another bank account. I told him I'd be more than happy to send him a check for the $680. All I need would be a personal address, and I could have the check posted tomorrow morning. So at this point, I think he's getting panicky. He says, just hold on, I will get back to you soon. So I begin to get irate and say, be quick, I want to get this dealt with as soon as possible. So at this point, he's addressing me as Franklin Moss, relating to the last set of details I gave him. He asks if I could send a Western Union or a MoneyGram. So if I do that, he'll give me another set of details and where I can send the payment to. Now at this point, he catches on. If you've been paying attention so far, you'll know I gave him 3 sets of fake details. So at this point, he's questioning why I've sent 3 different versions of my details, like my name, my address, what have you. So at this point, I get in a bit of a panic because I don't know how to deal with this. So I have to think it over later. And then I come up with something. This took a while to think about this. So I apologize and say the Texas info was my father-in-law's info, which it clearly isn't. My father-in-law is not from Texas. So I said I must have accidentally copied that from another email I was doing. I do. He was needing help with organising something for his house, which is complete nonsense. I do apologise. It's been a mad week. Ignore that info. The Los Angeles info is correct. So I think he kept talking to me, so I believe he bought it. He's probably still suspicious of me because he still wants to talk to me over the phone. So I gave him a phone number. I realised then I didn't know how long I was going to be able to keep this going. So I made it clear it's not very good at picking up calls. I live in an area where the reception is terrible, and that's why I do most of my communicating over email. So I get serious with him. I say, look, Charles, if I'm going to Western Union, I really need your address to send the money. And then, sure enough, he gave me another bank account. This one is from Pearl Hawaii Federal Credit Union in Honolulu, Hawaii. A bit of a far leap from a bank in Lithuania. So like the last one, I reported that account as well. I never heard back from them at all, but I gave them the details and maybe they took care of it. So when he gave me that info, I told him, okay, I'll try and send the money today, although if I'm being 100% honest, Charles, I'd rather send the money directly to you. So at this point, I've got 2 bank accounts. I'm trying to get an actual address out of him. So I figured I'm trying to see how long I can hold this on, but I know for a fact, I know deep down I'm not going to be able to keep this going much longer. So I say, Charles, we have a problem. I went to Western Union, and not only did they refuse to let me send the money, they've also alerted the police. They won't let me leave now. What do I do? And guess what? He ghosted me after that. So I pretend to be in a panic here, and the next day I say, Charles, talk to me. Because you didn't respond, I didn't know what to tell the police, so I had to tell them, you worked at an airport in Pennsylvania, your email initially had a Uruguay domain, you had a package for me, there was a big fee to pay, you needed $680 to pay the rest of the fee. Basically, everything he's been telling me, and everything we've been talking about for the past week and a half. I ended with, they told me the person I was emailing was a scammer. So basically I'm acting like someone who's in a massive panic here because I've had the police onto me about fraud. So I say, talk to me, Charles. What the hell is going on? Please tell me you're not trying to steal my money. And then about 12 hours later, he got back to me. And all he did was give me the same bank account info. If you're not a joker, send it to me. I'm a very busy man and send your ID card too. So I realise now I'm running out. It's probably over at this point. So I respond with, Charles, did you not hear me? The police nearly arrested me when I tried to make the payment. They tell me you're a scammer, and what I was attempting was illegal. Tell me you're not a scammer. I'm not sending you a penny until you tell me you're not a scammer. And this is one of the best moments that I knew I would have to end on. And I knew for a fact this would be the end of it. He would never be able to follow through with this. Actually, send me your ID card to prove you work at Pennsylvania International Airport. And then the last email relating to this I followed up with was, you sent me 2 bank accounts from 2 different banks in 2 different countries, one of which was frozen, so I have every right to be suspicious. Send me your ID and be quick about it. I'm a busy man too. And I never heard back from him after that. He realised he wasn't going to get the money, and he realised if he bought everything I was saying, he realised that the person he was trying to scam was in serious legal trouble with the police, and obviously he's not going to help me with that. So I never heard back from him. So I emailed him back 2 days later on October 21st. So I said, right, Charles, has there been any news about that package from the airport? It's been 2 weeks now. Surely it will be marked to return to sender and shipped back to London, right? Never heard back from him. I've sent him a couple more emails. One where I confess that the initial bank account from Lithuania was reported by me within an hour of him sending it to me. He didn't respond to that. And then, for a laugh, on October 26th, 5 days after he stopped talking to me, I emailed him back and said, look, Charles, I'm concerned you were trying to rip me off, but I actually received a package in the mail this morning. It came from Pennsylvania with a diplomatic sticker on it, as well as a customs paid label. I just want to say thanks very much for processing this. I'd be happy to send some of the money that was in the package. There was a lot of it. Just give me an address to send it to, and I'll get that processed. I'll just tell the post office I'm sending a friend some soccer tickets or something. And nope, he didn't respond to that. So that was about 14 or 15 days I was talking to him. And, you know, my first time talking to a scammer, and I got 2 bank accounts out of it. So that's not bad. So, bottom line, if you're going to talk to a scammer, first of all, they're not worth your time, really. But if you get an email address or a text message from a scammer or a phone call, always Google, if you're suspicious, always Google the number. There'll be websites telling you if the phone number is fraudulent, if it's a cold caller. Oh, a sure sign that a text message is fraudulent is if it comes from a mobile number, or if it is written really badly and they want you to either log into a specific website because either you have to claim a prize or something, or they say your login details for PayPal or Facebook have been hacked and you need to log in to verify them. Actually, an ideal way to deal with this is if you click on their link and you enter obviously fake info that is not relating to you. If they accept that, you're obviously fake information like Scooby-Doo at 7thcircleofhell.com is your email address, and they accept it, and you know for a fact it isn't your email address, it's fraudulent. I think the basic rule here is do not give any of your personal info out to someone you do not recognize. This was a good laugh. I got a laugh out of it. My wife got a laugh out of it. My friends got a laugh out of it, and I hope you did too.